going on, guys? It's your boy Dubbo, the host with the toast. We're coming in live with another episode of Change My Mind podcast. We got a special guest with us today, Mr. Omar Flores. He's a good dude, very interesting man. Has a background in criminal justice and government, so this is gonna be an interesting conversation.
What's up? How's it going? This is pretty exciting, actually. It's really cool.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming. Appreciate you for being here.
Of course.
Okay, man. How you been? How's everything going? How's life treating you?
Everything's great. I'm looking forward to the summer and the heat, and I love the heat. I love the 105-degree weather. That's what I look forward to.
Nice.
Looking forward to July. Planning on taking some time off, so looking forward to that. How you been?
I've been pretty good, brother.
Yeah.
I've been pretty good. You know, I can't complain. Life is great.
Yeah.
We have our ups and downs, but so far so good.
That's great.
So
That's
far
cool.
so good.
Cool.
So we're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna start from day one. We're gonna talk about your childhood, brother. How was your childhood? How many brothers and sisters? And tell me all about it.
Yeah, so I have 8 technically siblings, right? I have you. You're my youngest one, or younger brother. Total of 5 brothers, including myself. 3 sisters, one in Mexico. And then it's us, right? It's I'm the middle, right? You're 2 years younger than me, and then of course we have the youngest one, right? He's a lot younger than us, but
Nice.
yeah.
So, did you have a good childhood, a bad childhood? Was it decent?
It's funny because at work I kind of share my stories a little bit when it comes to when I go to Walmart and I see people with a big old grocery store, like 2 baskets full of food, and I see the kid, yanking to the mom, I want this, and the food's a basket full of Doritos and Tapico and all that.
Right.
I'm like, hey, that was me. That was us.
Yeah.
So that's really, really cool. So I think that's part of it. I think, I don't eat vegetables. I don't know. I feel like we grew up with a big household, and the food was ready when mom made the tortillas. When the tortillas are ready, that's when the food is ready.
You damn right. You damn right.
I think we're in a Mexican American household.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to be proud of our roots. We got to be proud of where we're from.
Right.
Big family, lots of food. Raised in low income. And here we are, huh?
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna take a flashback on memory lane, and we're gonna talk about maybe a tender topic here.
Okay.
I remember when we were kids, we got taken away from our family and went to foster care. Can you elaborate and explain to us what you remember about that?
Yeah, what I remembered was, I guess I was a little bit older than you, so maybe I might have more memories. But
Yes.
I remember one morning, we were living in a trailer park, so the whole entire street of the trailer park was filled with cops with guns and yelling and screaming and telling us to open the door. And then they took my older brothers. A week later, state came, and that's when they took us. And then we were actually trying to sneak you out. It was me and you and Narita. We were actually trying to sneak y'all out back of the window, trying to sneak you out, trying to see if we can run away. But obviously, it didn't work out. And long story short, we were living together. Right, we went to daycare. Actually, we were all in daycare. We were all living at the same house. We're in daycare, and we got picked up. Me and you got picked up, and our sisters got picked up, and it was just us two. And we lived together and away from everyone, but it's just two for about nearly 2 years.
Nice.
It was just us two. I actually don't have a lot of memories with you in foster care. I don't think we really played together a lot in foster care.
No. Do you remember the first family we went to?
Yeah, the black family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that?
There was I think they were really nice people, very sweet people actually. Yeah, they were. I don't know. I actually met the guy, one of them. I remember we were outside eating a lot, outdoor. I think we thought that they were kind of mean or rude or something, but I don't know. These people, I've seen them around town, and they're actually really big people around town, and they do a lot of stuff for the community. So,
I see the father sometimes. He works for UPS,
Yeah.
and I see him from time to time. Do you?
Yeah, I do. He's actually like the director for like the like NAACP,
Oh yeah.
something like that for around town.
When was the last time you seen him?
The last time I saw him, we were at me and Anan actually. This is like 4 years ago. Um, a congresswoman, Social Torres Smalls.
Uh,
She was actually in Hobbs. This is like 3 4 years ago, and I really wanted to go see her. It was at a house, and Anan actually came with me. And I saw him. He actually introduced me to the like congresswoman. Hey, he actually lived with me when I was in fostering kids. So that was really cool.
nice.
So I was introduced to her. She actually ran. She only was like a 1-term congresswoman. She tried running again, but she lost.
Wow. Yeah. What I remember from that was
Yeah.
I remember they were actually kind of mean.
You know what? They were mean. They were mean. But I think I don't know. I think I get kind of confused because the memories I do have is mean, but then what I hear about them and what they do and stuff like that is like, well, they do this and they do that. So I don't want to like bash them too much.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I remember
Mhm.
they would eat dinner inside as a family,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we would eat outside in the backyard by
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah. I remember that too. Yeah.
And I also remember they used to make us brush our teeth with our fingers.
I don't remember that.
Yes.
I don't. But yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. They used to make us brush our teeth with our fingers. And I remember being in foster care, I was always really thirsty. Really, I was always thirsty for some reason, and I remember being in the shower, drinking the shower water, cause I was
Are you
really
serious?
thirsty. Like I was thirsty, like I wouldn't get like water.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh. That's just what I remember. But we was with that first family for a little bit.
You know what? I do remember we were the like their family, their immediate family. They were like inside eating, and we were like in the room when it was our turn. Then we went outside and ate. Like I remember that. But I think because I ran into the guy, like I said, a couple years ago, and he seemed very excited to see me and very excited. Um, I don't know. I think maybe he used my story to like promote how he is and try to make himself look better. Maybe.
Yes.
But like again, I just heard really good things about him now. But
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, we were there with them for a little bit,
Mhm.
and so let's move on to the second family. Remember, if you could start from day one with them?
Yeah, I remember we got picked up at the daycare, and I remember like who are these people? And I remember like I was sitting in the back of the truck, and it smelled like cigarette, like ashtrays everywhere.
What ethnicity were they?
They were white.
They were white.
They were white. And I remember showing up to their house, and we stayed like a futon. I think like the best part though, I think like the biggest memory, I don't know if you remember, but we actually went to Kmart and she bought like a whole bunch of stuff for us.
I do remember that, and I remember that was the first time I ever smelled new clothes.
Oh yeah.
You know that new clothes smell?
Yeah.
I remember I had my
Mhm.
first ever new pair of white tees.
Oh yeah.
Remember smelling those white teas
Mhm.
and just remembering the new scent, and it just blew my mind. And I do remember going to Kmart getting clothes, and it was so new to me
Mhm.
because we came from, a
Yeah.
poor family. You could say, I guess we weren't so privileged, and that new clothes smell was just blew my mind.
You know what? I agree. Just to put things into perspective, it was us and like seven, kids, right, living in a trailer, like 2 bedrooms. I remember this trailer when the cops showed up and they blocked the whole trailer like road. We actually didn't have a doorknob. Like that's what I actually remember. I actually didn't miss that part.
On the front
Like
door?
when the state showed up, we actually instead of a doorknob, we actually had a piece of shirt, like a shirt, just like covering the hole where the doorknob goes.
In the living room?
Because I remember like the state people, they knocked on the door, and I remember peeking a hole on it, and I remember putting my finger down with the shirt at the hole, the shirt hole, whatever, and I was like, crap, it's a lady. We don't. Maybe it's the cops or something. But I actually remember we didn't have a doorknob.
Okay, we're gonna take.
I don't know if you remember that. Do you remember that?
No, I do not remember that.
Yeah.
Um, what happened? What led to that moment? Why did we get taken away?
Yeah, so I don't know if you knew this, but yeah, I think obviously, our older brothers, got into some trouble and they got caught. They decided to do some break into his school. Broke into school. I remember stealing little stereos and computers, and they found a trail where it leads to, which was our trailer. Um, yeah, that's what it really was.
Okay. Yes, I remember that. Um, Back to the second family. Talk to us more about them.
Uh, I really didn't have any like really like. I mean, they disciplined us, had those hard conversations with us. And as kids, we always think, oh, they're like mean and stuff. But I think they had their moments. I don't. I think I know a lot of people had a probably worse experience. But I know we didn't experience anything like traumatic necessarily. Um, so yeah, I just remember just we had to go to school every day. There's times where we had literally. I don't think we've ever missed like school because they just like forced us to go to school.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah, how was your experience though? I mean, what do you think? I mean, I didn't know that you were thirsty. You were so thirsty to the point you were drinking water from the shower.
Yes.
Until now, so I didn't know you experienced that. Maybe because you were.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe they bullied you. What was yours?
Yeah, I just remember being really thirsty, and like you said, the cigarette smoking white people, and just being a little kid. Um, you know, we don't name drop on this podcast in a negative light.
Uh-huh.
We only say names when it's positive. But I don't know if you remember the foster sister there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did you ever hear about the Gregory Brooks murder that happened maybe a year ago?
Never heard of it.
So there's this man, this black man. He was a good community member.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure what he did. But I think he like did what was he podcasting? What was he doing? Like a content creator? I think he was a comedian. But he tragically got gunned down and murdered. And the dude that murdered him, he had a female with him. And that female with him was the foster sister we lived with.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So apparently, they're still looking for the murderer, and they're looking for
serious?
her.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they're looking for her for questioning, and I think they're still looking for the killer. But I heard that girl's on drugs and in the streets and with the wrong crowd.
Really?
Yes.
I actually ran into her brother like a couple months back, actually like 3 months ago, and I actually said, "Hey, how's she doing?" And they were like shocked because I asked.
Which brother was this?
This was the oldest one, like the oldest, not the fat one or the chubby one, but the
Yeah.
the other one. Yeah, it was him, and I remember I was like, "Hey, how's she doing?" And she's like, he looked at me kind of confused, like
Did he remember you?
oh yeah, he remembered me. Actually, yeah, he definitely remembered me.
What was that
He made it
conversation
awkward.
like?
He was awkward about it.
Really?
I said hi, and as soon as I walked away, he whispered to his wife, "Hey, we fostered him and he was little. We fostered him."
Did you shake his hand?
Shook his hand. Yeah, he has a family. I think he has like 5 grown kids. He actually looks exactly like his dad.
No way.
Yeah. How was your experience? Did they treat you right?
Oh man. The oldest one was decent. I guess you could say he was cool.
Uh-huh.
And the second one, the chubby one you're talking about,
Yeah.
he was a sick, nasty motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sick, nasty motherfucker.
What did you say that?
I don't know if you remember, but he would fucking scratch his ass and fucking chase me around the fucking room and put his hand in my fucking face.
He's never done that to me.
Yes, I remember he used to put his hand in his fucking ass
Disgusting.
after his little baseball practices
Yeah.
and fucking chase me trying to get me to smell his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's disgusting. And he was like a white freckle redhead,
White freckle,
chubby.
fat boy. Here's it. You
And
play ball like a girl. Off the Sandlot, he looked just like that.
Exactly
motherfucker.
like him. No, exactly.
Just like that motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Redhead, everything.
Yes. You play ball like a girl.
Then you were pretty mistreated. I mean, you were drinking water from the shower.
See, look,
He
now
was getting that
now
happened.
I do that to my wife. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I got my boy E-Roll behind the camera.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then I didn't know that. And now, fun fact, actually, I was actually kind of mean to Omero as we were growing up. I think he's always wanted a friendship, and he's always wanted to hang out, and I was always mean to him. And I remember, and then I remember, I don't know why. But
Give me 1 second, real quick.
He's gonna.
I just had to make sure that door was shut because my kid walked out. My dad leaves the door open. But yeah, I remember that motherfucker being nasty like that, bro.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
So, how do you think? You mentioned foster care. How do you think? In what way did it impact you as an adult and as a father and as a husband?
Man, I really don't know how to explain. I don't think it impacted me that much as a father and a husband. I think that came to me naturally, being a father and husband, being a good dad, I guess, and husband. I don't think that impacted me, but I guess it just showed me, just how white people live. Eating. It's probably why I love mashed potatoes so much.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I just remember eating white people food.
I remember we didn't like the food.
We didn't like the food.
So I remember getting a dinner, and then I think we both did it. Actually, I remember Meryl got in trouble because we would both be like, not even touching the food. We'd be like, I'm full. Remember? Remember we would say that. I'm full.
We didn't even touch the food.
Yeah. And then Meryl, one time he got caught because he started putting food in his mouth and kept going to the restroom. And what he'd do is he'll grab the food, go into the toilet, and then flush it. And he will do that many times to the point where he obviously got caught.
I also would make sure that computer on that. I would also eat the food, spit it out in my hand, and give it to your dogs and cats. Because your dogs and cats will be under the table. And I'll just feed the cats and dogs, drop it on the ground and they'll eat it up. So their animals will be at my feet all the time.
Yeah.
And I would give them the food.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like the food.
I remember everybody would drink sweet tea, except for me and Omar. It would just milk. And everybody would...
What kind of food was it, bro?
Honestly...
Man, it was fucking broccoli, just unseasoned, tasteless steak.
I don't remember even having steak. I remember having soup with green beans and other stuff, but it was soup. It was bread and soup, and yeah, I don't remember a lot actually.
I remember it had no flavor, and I remember getting up in the middle of the night and sneak into the kitchen and get brownies.
You did that?
Yeah. I would get up and I would sneak in the kitchen in the middle of the night and get cookies and brownies and eat it in the middle of the night.
See, that's why Meryl probably went a lot more braver than I am, because I wouldn't even want to get up to even go to the restroom at night, and he's over here munching with brownies and snacks. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was snacking it on out in the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember we had some other people come to this to living with us?
The other Mexican people.
Yeah, the Mexican people, and she had a baby. I don't know if you were with us, but I remember me and the lady, right, the foster mom. She picked. I went with her to pick her up from the Heiser school. And she got into a massive fight, pulling hair. They grabbed her hair and smashed each other on the concrete.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, it was a big fight. And then Tammy was just staring and watching. And I told that lady, and then I said, "Can you stop it?" And she didn't want to do it,
Yeah.
But it was interesting.
I remember the brothers, older brother and a younger brother. I remember that's the first time I heard Little Flip, the rapper. Little Flip. They would play Little Flip and SPM and stuff. And
see, it's interesting. I didn't hear any music like that. The only music that I remember listening to is "Picture Away." That's it.
I threw your picture away.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I remember telling them I don't like this song. It makes me have bad dreams.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's interesting how he remembers those rappers, and I don't remember any of that. It's probably why I don't know. It's crazy because I feel sometimes we feel we grew up in the different household. Because you listen to certain music, I don't. I don't know. I think that's quite interesting because you're only 2 years younger than me. We grew up in the same household, but yet your memories is completely different than mine.
Let me get one more, big dog.
And the other one too. But yeah, sure, it's fine. A little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. That's pretty much it on the foster care side. Do you remember the first day coming back home to mom?
I remember having like weekly visitations, and I remember Adan being such a baby, newborn, and I remember being super excited because he was crying. Thank you. He was crying, and I remember rocking him and putting him to sleep. And I made him fall asleep, and I was so excited. I went home, obviously back to the foster home, and I was like, "I'll put my little brother asleep," So I was super excited about that.
That's amazing. Yeah. I remember those weekly visitations too. I remember mom, when we go visit her, she'll bring us Lunchables.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Jello too.
Yeah.
The Jellos. Oh, the Jellos is probably the biggest memory. Our visitations, she'll bring like every time Jello.
Snacks, food, and we would eat the shit out of that.
I remember to one of her visitations, she threw up in the visitation. That was before we found out she was pregnant.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember.
Wow. Yeah, I remember visiting mom on the visitations.
Yeah.
And seeing my little brother, newborn baby.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. I don't know, but I remember when we go visit my mom, we'll be at her house, and I would tell my mom, I'd be like, I think I would raise my hand.
Yeah.
And I would ask her, can I use the restroom?
Really?
Yeah, and she'd be like, son, in Spanish, you ain't gotta ask me to use the restroom. Just go use the restroom. She's like, you ain't gotta ask me.
Was it over here, like in this side of town, right?
It was on the west side. I know exactly where it's at.
Really?
Yes.
I remember it being the west side, yeah, for sure. Grandma Chinta and all that.
By the old Esperanza. Yeah.
My mom actually had her baby shower there for Adan there.
Really?
I remember. We actually have a photo.
Yeah, I used to ask my mom permission to use the restroom.
Yeah.
She'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Just go to the restroom.
I think we grew up in a very... I don't know. I actually always wanted to learn more about maybe like yours, like family versus ours. I don't know, because I just feel like I feel like our food, I don't think we were even we ate right as kids, right? I don't know. I think our nutrition wasn't as the best.
What do you mean? Explain.
I don't know. I was also the child in the family where I would tell mom what to make for dinner. I don't know if you knew that, but every decision she made for dinner was actually because of me.
Yes, I do remember you telling me what to make.
Yeah, so I was kind of decision making, but I feel like our dinners were just beans by itself. I want to know, did anybody else have that for dinner? Just beans? Is that? We loved it. It wasn't a complaint.
No, yeah, it was our favorite.
Yeah, so I
with tortilla.
Yeah,
beans and cheese.
I don't know, yeah, and then we go to foster care and it's it has we have sides and stuff. You're right. It was just beans and cheese and tortillas, right?
Options.
Yeah, and ours was just a big old pot of just beans and cheese.
I think the only thing I liked in foster care was probably the mac and cheese.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because Valvitas.
Huh?
Valvitas, right?
What is that?
The brand box.
Oh, okay, the brand. Okay, yes. I think that's the only thing I liked was beans and cheese.
Yeah, beans and cheese. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fucking.
But Pepper, why don't you eat vegetables? Do you eat vegetables now?
I do. I love veggies.
I don't know why.
What kind of veggies do you cook?
Man, I fucking broccoli, green beans, fucking lettuce, tomatoes, onions.
I still order my tacos, no cilantro, no onions still.
I love my carrots. Yeah, I'm a big veggie guy now.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a big veggie guy now.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen this episode from TLC about my strange addiction or something, and one of the episodes was this guy that never ate vegetables. It was just no vegetables. He couldn't eat vegetables. I feel like that's me.
Really? I think you eventually come to it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think you're right eventually.
Yeah, you eventually come to it.
I don't know. I'm turning 30 next month, so maybe eventually, right? In my 30s, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You eventually come to it. So yeah, do you remember coming back from back home?
I remember. Yeah, it was in Avenue B. Avenue B. I remember.
That's when we came back home?
Yeah, Avenue B. 'Cause I remember we got dropped off, we got our stuff, and yeah, Avenue B.
That's crazy. I don't remember coming back completely.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Avenue B. I just remember us like getting to the house. I don't remember us like packing up or anything like that. I just remember just our foster's parents' vehicle in the driveway, and then I just getting our stuff out.
Nice.
That's where we met our neighbor Jessica.
Yeah.
Next door. I remember her bike was like no tires, no wheels, or no. We had a trampoline.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It was
Okay.
cool. I think we had a fun childhood, honestly.
I think so too.
Because we actually like pretty much like dominated the block, pretty much. Like honestly, like any other people around our age, like we would be friends with them, and then we would we actually were the troublemakers.
Yeah,
I think we were the troublemakers.
Yeah,
and I think our childhood became worse after we left Jefferson Street. You know?
Oh yeah, I agree. So I think so too.
Yeah.
I remember stealing toys from the neighbors and shit, getting in trouble for it.
Yeah, because we would actually go. Yeah, so if we were bored as in our childhood, if we were bored and if we noticed that the neighbor had toys or a pool, we would just grab it. Remember? We would just grab it.
A whole swimming pool. We stole a whole swimming pool.
Oh yeah, we stole the whole swimming pool. Yeah.
We put it in our yard, and the neighbors came out like, "That's our pool."
Yeah.
And we're like, "No, it's ours."
Actually, I don't remember us telling them that this is our pools. We'll just like not answer the door. They'll just knock at our door to confront us, and we'll just not answer it. That's what I remember.
Yeah, man, childhood.
And let them just grab it.
I remember we were so fucking ghetto that our bikes were flat, and we couldn't air it up because they had holes in the tubings. Yeah. So we would just push the bikes with our hands and play with the bikes like that with our hands.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah. We would also go like ding dong ditch. We called it by a different name back in the day though.
Yeah.
We called it yeah.
Yeah, man. I remember that too.
And remember chicken shit?
Chicken shit.
Yeah. And I would actually come with nicknames too for the different people in the block.
Omar used to be a bully.
Yeah. Well, not a bully. I just come up with nicknames. Yeah. We used to call this guy chicken shit all the time.
Yeah, man. I used to bully the guy.
Actually, we were friends though. That's not like we honestly we had that nickname for him, but we weren't enemies. Like we were cool. We would hang out and have fun and have a chill time. Like we weren't like that kind of bullies. Just for the record, like it was like we had nicknames for people, but we were cool. We didn't no drama. Like it was a fun time. So we weren't like the toxic bullies. We were like have thick skin kind of bullies.
Right.
Right.
That's right. Okay, man. Let's move on to school.
Yeah.
What was school like, bro? I remember you was always going to school and getting your grades and doing what you had to do in school. And me, I didn't want to learn anything. I was unmotivated and just hard headed. I wasn't stupid or nothing. I was smart. I just didn't do anything in class. But with you in school, what kept you motivated? What kept you wanting to do your homework and keep your grades up?
Honestly, I think for some reason, I've always been like scared of like authority figures for some reason. Authority figures like I don't know. I was just like afraid of them. And I think till this day, I'm still kind of like timid about them. I remember freshman year, first semester, I started skipping school. Me and you, and I remember.
Skipping school.
Well, when I say starting skipping school, it was like twice, like only 2 times, like in ever.
You skipped school with me.
Yeah, I skipped school with you. I skipped school with you, and then we started smoking pot. And I remember getting a truancy tall black guy with a suit one day at school knocked on my door, like in the classroom in one of my periods, and then showed up and told me like, "Hey, if you keep it up, you're gonna be on truancy." And I think ever since then, I was like, "Oh crap, I gotta keep it up and go to school." Like things like that really like affected me, not necessarily for you, but for some. Obviously, I remember you said during foster care you would go to the kitchen at night and sneak in some snacks. Like I wouldn't be able to do that. So I think that's the reason. But I don't know. I think high school, I really wasn't really motivated. I just did my work.
Nice.
Pretty much. Just wanted to graduate and didn't really hang out with a lot of people, actually. That's probably the biggest thing is I had like three. Like I actually had a lot of friends in high school. I had like two or three, and not really call them a friend, but just like really just somebody that we know we have had in common, and went to school. And I think another thing too was going to church. I think like sophomore year got involved with church and a youth group
That's good.
and things like that. And I think that really helped me out too.
That's good. Do you remember the first time you smoked pot?
First time, yeah, it was middle school, I think. Yeah, we would get a can. We would get a can, get nails, poke the hole on it, go on the side. So yeah.
Carve on the side.
Remember the what was it called? Bonger, whatever you call it.
The buzzers.
Buzzer. Yes, we call it the buzzer. Hey, I would tell Omar, hey, get the buzzer out. Hey, can you make a buzzer?
The buzzer.
Remember?
Yeah, the buzzer. Let me explain.
The buzzer was my favorite. The buzzer was my favorite.
The buzzer was a Powerade bottle.
Yeah.
The buzzer was a Powerade bottle with the carb on the side and a foil as the bow.
Yeah.
And that was Omar's favorite.
That was my
He
favorite.
would get a super stone.
Yeah, the whole bottle will be white,
Yeah, the buzzer. I remember that.
And we would actually do it pretty often in middle school. And I remember too, like my dad even like find out, like we would skip school, just meet him around living at my dad's house for a certain point. I don't know if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, like, he did not know how to make his dinner. So our dinner, we would eat the same thing every single day. His grocery shopping will be just getting a box of Tostinos, pizza rolls. That's it. I don't remember if you remember that.
Yeah.
Like, that was our dinner. Like, if we were hungry,
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls every day.
Can I get a Miller, my brother?
Yeah, pizza rolls. Remember you had the buzzer?
Yes.
I'm good. Thanks. But yeah, the buzzer.
Got some lights up here?
Yeah.
I know, my son freaking clogged it up with his saliva. My beer salts.
Hey, do you remember Jefferson Street?
Yes, I do.
So, I said that Jefferson Street, I think that really impacted us even further into, like, getting into trouble. Because they, our neighbors at the time, say no names, right? I think they kind of, like, showed us things. Like, remember AW?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You said no nothing off the table, so.
Yeah. So AW is Febreze, air freshener.
Airwick.
We used to huff air freshener as kids.
Oh, that's crazy, yeah.
And that shit would get us so fucking high. Fucking air fresheners, dude.
You know what's crazy? Nobody like told us anything. I remember as kids, like down the block, like we would just like it was like us and like all the kids from the block. We'll just like walk to Family Dollar, and we'll all just buy like cans of Airwick, and nobody told us anything. Remember that?
It was like 5 cans. We would buy like.
It was like more than that. Like, it was like imagine a group of 7, 8 kids, middle school age, not even middle, like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going to Family Dollar and just buying Airwick,
And we'll huff that shit. We'll
Yeah.
put a towel over it. Fucking huff it.
That's super dangerous. Did you know people actually die like from doing that?
Yeah. I remember one time I got so high off of it, I forgot who I was.
That's bad.
Literally, I was sitting there and I was by myself too.
Yeah.
And I was so high, I was like, who am I? I forgot my name. I forgot where I lived. I literally didn't know anything. And I was sitting there like, what's my name? Who am I?
You know what's crazy? We never got caught. Like I remember.
Nobody stopped us but us. We just stopped.
Yeah, we just stopped. Like I remember my dad getting so mad at us because the room was dirty, and he like forced us to clean one day, and he literally grabbed a broom and swept everything underneath the bed, the dresser and all that, and all it was cans of Airwick.
Yeah.
Just cans of Airwick.
Yeah, man, that's terrible.
But see, our neighbors taught us that, so that's what I'm saying. She was a bad influence on us.
Yep.
And she also exposed you to weed and.
Yeah. I don't think I'll blame her. I'll blame probably. I don't know who introduced me to weed, but. Yeah, man, I was a big pothead.
Oh yeah, I know who introduced you to weed.
I was in elementary school.
I know who.
Who? But don't say who. But.
Or a family member, one of your brothers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think because he would sell it to you for like $5.
$5 a joint.
Yeah, I remember. You were like in elementary school, and he would sell it to you for $5.
Yeah. $5 a joint.
Yeah. See, I never really got into that.
Okay, so we go to school.
Yeah.
You graduate. I don't. You go to college, And you study for...
Government, criminal justice, and pre-law, actually. Yeah.
Okay, what made you study for that? And what was that like?
So yeah, I have after high school, graduated from high school, went to the community college here, got my associate's degree. After getting my associate's degree, I got my bachelor's degree. I actually wanted to go to law school all the time. That was my motivation. My motivation wasn't to get necessarily a degree, but to go to law school. Getting prepared for that until COVID hit. So I was living in West Texas during COVID, and I'm like, yeah, I thought the world was ending, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't be, you know, signing up for something for $100,000.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, that's where it's at. But I think the biggest reason why I studied that is because when I went to Mexico,
And what are you talking about specifically? Studied what?
Government.
Okay.
Well, really it was political science. That was like really what I first. So that's why I got a political science.
Political science?
Political science.
Okay.
Yeah. Political science, I actually did. I started a political science club back in college. Pretty involved. I was in a fraternity, and then when I was at New Mexico State.
Is your mic keep dropping?
Yeah.
Let me fix that for you.
Yeah.
But let's go closer to your mic if you would.
Yeah.
Okay, so political science.
Yeah.
Where does that get you? And say you stuck to that. What job does that land you at?
So, like I said earlier, like I said, my motivation wasn't necessarily to get a bachelor's degree. My motivation was to go to graduate school, law school. That was my motivation. I did the law school admissions test. I applied for law school back in February of 2020. And then COVID hit. I was living in West Texas. COVID hit. And that's when everybody was selling toilet paper, like clearing the shelves out.
While you were studying this.
Yeah, yeah. And so I lost my motivation to continue law schools. I was like, hey, a lot of news anchors were bashing universities. A lot of anchors, a lot of people were reporting that because of COVID, universities were still charging a high rate. They were still charging the full tuition, although classes were canceled. So they were calling universities a scam. That was when the universities were exposed that they were like taking advantage of the government, taking advantage of government aid. And I learned a lot from that. So I was like, well, you know what? That is like a scam. Maybe I shouldn't be signing up for $100,000. Plus, not only that, I have a really good friend of mine. Her husband's actually a lawyer. He's now actually has his own law firm now. And saying no names, but he's an awesome, awesome guy. I went to his wedding in Michoacan, Mexico.
If it's a positive light, you could say names.
Yeah, it's okay. No, Michoacan, I went to the wedding, and, he's just told me it was a lot of hours, long hours. And I felt the vibe that he wasn't as enjoying it. And I got into sales, and I've been in sales for 8 years now, actually. So I've been in sales for a long time, and I just decided maybe I just pursue sales.
Okay, and I know you studied criminal justice as well.
Yeah, so I've double majored. Yeah, so
and that's a whole different study. It's a whole different class degree.
Yeah, so it is. I did a dual. Yeah, double majored. So the study of justice. But the reason why I even chose that field, honestly, is because I remember going to Mexico, and I remember it was like culture shock, and it's so shocking to see how different Mexico is than the U.S. And it got me really interested in learning about different governments and how it works and things like that. So that's why I even decided to learn about that.
Okay, what career does that land you on?
Nothing really. No, it's all about graduate. So what graduate level is about getting a law degree, right? That's where it's going to actually have a lot more opportunity for you career-wise. Mm-hmm. Other than that, there's no opportunity. There's no opportunity. I was actually sharing
opportunity.
Well, it's all about job experience, right? So it's all about job experience. I mean, somebody can have a master's degree but really have bad work ethic. I've been in management for. You're good.
Excuse me.
You're good.
Excuse me.
I've been fortunate being quite successful where I do now. But I've interviewed people, and I think really after COVID has really been a big issue. But people can have master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and call in so many times it does not work right.
Right.
But no, I think I can say this because I have a bachelor's degree. I think college is a scam. I think college is, and I can say that I'm not being a hater because I don't.
Not going to college. It's a scam.
Now the reason why I went to college in the first place, again, because I also believe I'm sort of a overachiever, or at least I try to accomplish things that I started. So that's another motivation why I even finished it. I've met lots of people where they said, "Well, I only have 8 credits and I could have a bachelor's degree." Well, I only had 20 credits and I could have had this degree. I told myself I didn't want to be like that because that kind of like follows you for the rest of your life. I met people. Well, technically, I have a bachelor because I only needed 2 semesters. Like no, I didn't want to be like that, so that's why I finished.
Okay, me, I'm a buffoon.
Yeah.
I didn't finish high school, nothing. Definitely didn't go to college.
Mhm.
But I heard college is wild, and you told me some parties and stuff. What was college like for somebody who hasn't even stepped on campus? What was college like?
I actually enjoyed college. It actually had better grades in college than I did in high school. Learned a lot in college. I didn't really party. I partied, but like it was like a couple times, in the semester.
Priorities first.
Huh?
I said priorities.
Priorities first, but I really didn't enjoy it. When I was in my early 20s, I would drink a lot, and then I would be sick and hungover, and then humiliate myself, and I really didn't like that.
So college was your high school, and you could say, I guess it's safe.
I guess you can say, but I really did that like only like a semester or two where I really like explored. After that, like my last 2 years of college,
Explored.
yeah, or experimented. But the last 2 years of college, I really just focused on school. Like I worked full time. Like my last year of college, I was working like 50 hours a week, managing 3 different properties in Las Cruces, El Paso, and then I was taking like 8 classes like in a semester. In that one semester, like that's a lot.
Right.
Like I remember coming home from work and like I had a 10-page paper due at midnight, and I would come home from work at 6. So
Wow.
I had like 5, 6 hours to do a 10-page paper.
Wow. Okay.
And so that's what I would do. So that really kept me focused and disciplined.
Where was this at?
Las
Santa
Cruces.
Fe?
Las Cruces.
Yes, I remember you was gone for a while for school.
Yeah, that's what I did. And actually, it was I enjoyed it. Like 10 papers, and then I had like essays and did a lot of college credits.
Okay.
And plus worked full time, so it kept me really busy.
Okay, so that degree in criminal justice, if you want to be a detective, do you still got to apply to be a cop and then detective, or can you just jump in line?
No, you gotta go through the ranks.
You got to work on up.
In life and in work. You gotta have that experience.
Okay, you
gotta have that
traffic
experience.
tickets and.
I think again, I'm not an expert obviously in that field. Although was gonna be a state trooper.
I remember you was gonna. Yes, I remember that.
Be a state trooper.
I remember you telling me that you don't care if I'm your brother. You'll take me to jail.
Yeah, I did. But I was just joking around though. I was just joking.
I don't know. You had a gun pointed at me when you said it.
No, just joking.
That's a joke.
No, I withdrew from it because I decided, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. If once you go into that, you're stuck, you're set, and I don't want to feel that way. So I'm still kind of checking things out, learning different things.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, school sounded fun for you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm happy for you.
Okay, appreciate that.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I remember back in the day, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you could say I'm a big music guy.
Yeah.
But back then, you was a big music guy. I remember you going to Hastings and you bought T-Pain's album.
Yeah.
And you would listen to a lot of T-Pain. And who else? Just T-Pain?
T-Pain was the first CD that I bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. T-Pain, I think like Mr. What's it called? Mr. Capone, Little Rock.
You bought his album?
I didn't buy it, but I remember like listening to it all the time.
Okay.
Mr. Capone, MC Magic, them like that. SPM, I did listen to them, but I wasn't like jamming into it. I just listened to it because everybody else was listening to it.
Who are you listening to now?
Yeah.
Or did you detach from music?
I really detached from music. I do a lot of like podcasts. Actually, I do a lot of like YouTube.
That's
podcasts.
what you listen to now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you're here.
Yeah. I guess it is.
Okay, what's your intake on SPM?
I think people got to do the research. You know, I think people kept saying that he's innocent, and he's not, and he's not innocent. He.
Let me keep you updated on the SPM. Okay. So yeah, thumbs down to SPM. That's
Yeah.
my vote. You can ask
Yeah.
anybody. I was the biggest SPM fan there was in the world.
Yeah.
I grew up and I opened my eyes though. SPM's a piece of shit. And I don't know if you noticed, right? His daughter's like our age, right?
Mhm.
Carly Coy. And recently, SPM divorced his wife, and he married his daughter's best friend.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she's our age too. And he married his daughter's best friend. And after that, I was like, fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah. I think people gotta get over him. People gotta get over and get educated, and
Yeah, I'll take one.
yeah.
Yeah, he married his daughter's best friend, bro. And I didn't
What is
dig
that?
that. This is in.
Tobacco?
Yeah.
No, just nicotine.
Oh, okay. I'm good.
Okay.
I've never had one
It
before.
probably
but
make him
I'm
sick for his first time.
good.
It makes people sick for the first time.
Yeah.
Second time makes you probably throw up. Probably ruin the podcast and stuff.
Okay.
Ask Josh. Ask Daffy. But yeah, bro,
Yeah.
SPM. I was the biggest fan, and now it's just like thumbs down. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so you don't listen to music now. You
Yeah.
did then,
Uh-huh.
and you was a big music hit back then.
If I do listen to music, it's like clean music. Like do a lot of like non secular, some Christian music. I think it's really good, positive vibes. I just can't do like who's that? Like rappers nowadays. I like Travis Scott. Did you watch his documentary on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's crazy.
How's it crazy?
People died. People suffocated.
Oh yes, I heard about what
Yeah.
happened, but I didn't watch the documentary.
Yeah, and I think a rapper to know that intentionally let their fans suffocate to death.
You
and
think he intentionally did that?
absolutely, yeah. I think it's spiritual. I think he used it as a spiritual sacrifice. 8 people died, and did you know there's a lady, I forgot her name, but there's a lady that's really famous in the music industry, and it's just people don't really know her, but she looks like a witch.
Yes.
What's her name?
She's a fashion designer.
She's a fashion designer.
Yes.
And they snipped a photo of Travis Scott passed out on the floor, and she's like sitting down in a weird, awkward position. Yeah, you saw that, right?
She what? What'd she do?
I don't know what she did, but she was like in a weird, awkward position with a smile. You know? Yeah, I think everything's spiritual.
Yeah, that fashion designer.
Yeah.
She's linked with a bunch of celebrities:
A lot of
Kanye West, the
celebrities.
Kardashians, Travis Scott, and
Yeah.
many others.
Yeah,
Yes, and she is a real life witch.
yeah.
Real life. I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
You know, and that just proves right there that everything is made out of spiritual realm, spiritual world. Everything is spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's proof.
Yes.
And obviously people that died at the Travis Scott concert back in 2021, he used them as a sacrifice.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I believe you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about religion, brother.
Yeah.
What's your religion and what's your beliefs?
Christian, non-denominationals. What that means is not a specific denomination, like such as Baptist, Methodist, certain things like that. Yeah, I believe that in this life, it's a marathon, right? Obviously what a marathon is.
Yes.
It's continuing to pursue to live right with God. We're gonna continue to fail, and it's okay to fail. That's why, we have His grace. It's not necessarily take advantage of His grace, but it's about getting back up and not letting your failures define you or define your life,
Right.
or not make you feel like you're not good enough or worthy enough. You just got to get back up.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, brother.
Mhm.
Do you know what the Shroud of Turin is?
The shroud of what?
Of Turin? The Shroud of
No.
Turin?
No.
It's the cloth that they found that, well, I'm going to say, it's my opinion, it's the cloth they wrapped Jesus in, and that he resurrected from
Resurrected.
Resurrected. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Uh-huh.
He resurrected from, and his imprint is in the cloth.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Do you think that's real? And explain how you feel about that.
I think I actually read into it. I think it's real. I think it's facts. But I think the biggest proof of it is that thousands of people, like historians, prove that Jesus resurrected, not because they got proof of his physical, like they got proof of thousands of people seeing him, like in
500
public.
witnesses.
Yeah, and now and then before that, obviously that he even existed in the first place, and
He's a real person.
yeah, absolutely. And did you know? I actually just saw this on TikTok. Actually, that guy with the highest IQ in the world actually believes in Jesus.
Well, yeah.
You know, yeah, because we're all sinners, and there has to be a sacrifice. Because God is justice. He's the God of justice. Obviously, what that means.
Yes.
I'm good still. Yeah, and being a God of justice.
Huh? I'm getting twisted.
Yeah.
I'm feeling twisted right now.
I'm good. I'm funny.
Okay.
Yeah, and because he's a God of justice, right? Justice means just, right? Justice, right? Let's say a family member gets hurt by a drunk driver, and let's say they only get like a citation. That wouldn't be justice, right?
No.
Right? So obviously he had to do what was right and do the sacrifice that made it sufficient for us to get grace.
Nice, brother.
Yeah.
What would you say to the non-believers out there?
You can like search all you want. You can search. I think that the house or I can't really. Obviously, I don't. Let me rephrase this. You can find the lifestyle, the city, the job, the money in the world you can have. I think it's not going to truly fulfill you because we're designed to have a relationship with God. Like we're meant to have a relationship with them, and once we have that, we get that fulfillment. People find fulfillment in a lot of places, but I think that's not true fulfillment.
Right.
I think it shows that like there's a lot of people that are rich and are successful, or they end up committing, like killing themselves, right?
Right.
Or unaliving themselves, whatever.
Unaliving.
Unaliving, yeah. So unaliving themselves because they're empty. They're rich, but yet so empty.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Okay, so what's your opinion and your intake on Pope Leo and the popes in general?
Yeah, so I'm not a Catholic. First of all, I think it's kind of cool that the Pope is American. He's from Chicago. I think that's cool. His brother was actually interviewed him. Mm-hmm. His brother, like, he went just one day. He was like checking his mailbox and like, hey, your brother's the Pope. Like, that's crazy. But I personally believe that people shouldn't follow the Pope. And that's controversial, but yeah, No.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
You know how they say they're pedophiles and they touch little boys?
Yeah.
Do you think that's real or it's just propaganda?
Well, I know there's a lot of stories where people felt victim in the Catholic Church by priests, but not only by Catholic Church, by any religion, any church, really.
Right. It's abuse of power.
Yeah, abuse of power, and I think you can't really like pinpoint specific religion or the Pope. I think at the end of the day, people are
people.
People are people. People are human. The Pope is human. He's not this glorified person because he's the Pope. At the end of the day, he's human. Yeah, and we shouldn't idolize him or glorify him as something different.
Right.
And we already have a mediator, and that's Jesus, right? That's our mediator.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Well, there's a rumor saying that supposedly a conspiracy theory that all popes know every secret there is to know, and they know of alien beings, and they have specific artifacts buried and hidden. And do you think that's real or is just a conspiracy?
I think it's demons. Honestly, so I actually went to there's 5 biggest wonders in the world, or right? Something. I actually went to one of them, the pyramids in Mexico.
You went?
I went. That's actually listed on one of the top 5 this and the 5 wonders.
How
biggest
did
wonders of the
I
world.
not know this?
Yeah, and I've seen pictures and paintings and stuff. And obviously, you can do research and look History Channel and all these thousands of videos you can watch, whatever you want to do. But I mean, so just for instance, like my dad showed me a picture of the eagle and like which eagle is better, the Mexican eagle or the American eagle.
Uh-huh.
You know, oh, the Mexican eagle is better because it's like buffer. So,
Uh-huh.
and then, like that's cool.
Right.
You know, but what he doesn't know is that did you know that the Mexican eagle? This people controversial too, but it's facts. You can look. I actually went to Mexico City last year.
Tell me all about it.
I went to Mexico City and I went to museums in Mexico City, so I've like learned this for a fact. So long story short, to make it short, all these like Aztec people for like not Aztecs, but like the Mayans and all these people from the South Mexico and all that. They like worship different gods, like the sun god, the lizard god, the rain god, and all these. Obviously, as believers, those are demons, right? They want you to idolize other people, idolize the creation, not the creator, right? That's been happening for decades, for thousands of years,
Okay.
right? So, long story short, they were migrating, and their god / demon said, "You will grow and develop your city whenever you see an eagle land on a cactus. Whenever you see that, that's where you build your city."
Okay.
Because their god told them that.
Okay.
So that's why the eagle landing on a cactus on the Mexican flag, you do your research, is because one of their gods told them that, and that's why.
Okay, we're gonna jump ahead a little bit.
I know that's off radar.
We're gonna jump a little bit ahead a little bit, and I'm gonna ask you,
Uh-huh.
how do you think the Egyptian pyramids were made and the Mayan pyramids were made? Because we can't make that today, even with our cranes and our equipment. But but the ancient people in the past were able to do it.
Yeah.
How do you think they lifted up them blocks and put them pieces together?
What I believe is that when Satan fell from heaven, he wasn't the only one that fell. He brought a lot of angels with him too. And these angels are not like us, right? As humans, we're the only creation of God's creation that actually are of His image. Angels are not of God's image. We are. Yeah, so we are of God's image, right?
Angels are not of God's image. We are.
Yeah, because God in the Bible says that we are made in God's image, right? Not angels. So, anyways, I believe that He brought a lot of people. He brought a lot of angels with him, and these angels converted to little tall giants.
Fallen angels.
The fallen angels.
The Nephilim.
Yeah, these are like giants, and I think they helped them out. And I think
excuse me,
these giants helped build the pyramids because they wanted to have the people idolize and glorify the creation of the Creator.
What you're saying is humans didn't build the pyramids, the fallen angels did.
Yeah.
That is a great theory, and I could somewhat, maybe even 100% agree with you.
Yeah, and these fallen angels just go like even more extreme. They had to they slept with humans, and the babies were like half human and half like unhuman.
Right.
And the God saw that it was corrupt and bad. So that's why He caused the flood.
Okay.
That's what He caused the flood, because they had to be destroyed.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you something. Have you been keeping up about the news of the Egyptian pyramids lately?
Not lately.
Did you hear about the LiDAR system radar that they scanned underneath the Egyptian pyramids and found 600-meter pillars with coils running down? Have you seen that?
I haven't, no.
So apparently, they ran LiDAR system, ground penetrating radar, and they scanned under the pyramids, and they found a 600-meter long down, a spiral coil going deep in the earth with pillars, stairways, and open cavities deep under the pyramids. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, so it's new. You should see it. And that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's facts. You can look it up.
Yeah.
But
anyways, just to rewind real quick before, because I know we kind of jumped just for record, the flag and the of all that. That's facts. If you can actually look it up. My point of me saying that, I think people back in the day were confused because of the angel god, the lizard gods,
Right.
like the gender god. So I think they were just had different idols. And it's just for the record, so I'm not bashing the Mexican flag or anything like that.
Okay.
Just to rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, it's just because people had idols and idolized different things,
Okay.
which led to the pyramids. But
Okay, brother.
Yeah. You're good.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
It's a good podcast here.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to politics.
Okay.
We're gonna start with Mr. President Trump.
Okay.
How do you feel about his decisions and on the immigration stuff that's going on right now?
Immigration stuff, or like, well, they're most recent, like the Israel and Iran, or both.
We're gonna start with immigration.
Okay.
What's your intake on that? How do you feel about how we just wanted the criminals out,
Yeah.
but even the good people are being taken, and foster children being deported
Yeah.
because I believe in securing the border and keeping this country safe because I am American. But at the same time, there is good people here.
Yeah.
There is hardworking people here. And, like, what do you think about people who claim they're people who are here and they don't want to leave, but they're burning shit down, waving the Mexican flag?
Yeah.
What do you think about all that stuff?
So, actually, when I said I was going to law school, I wanted to study immigration law. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an immigration attorney. I'm also a believer in border security. I was telling a friend of mine, the people that are crossing the border, they're not the same people from 30 years ago. They're not the same people. You know, 30, 40 years ago, 20 years ago, these are people that just really wanted a better life and really just, have children.
The American dream.
Like, the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not like that. It's not like that no more. These are different people. These are people from China. These people from all around the world. These people that we don't had no idea where they're from. I do believe the border has to be secured. I think even like my dad said, he even said he was working with this guy one time. Just got back from like Central America, like not even from Mexico. And he openly admitted that he killed people, and he was like he said, if you get in the way, I will kill you too. Like he openly admitted that he killed people in Central America, And
Central America, for the people who don't know,
yeah.
is
I don't know where he's
Mexico and more down south.
No, Central America is not Mexico. Lower. Yeah.
Brazil.
So
Guatemala.
Mexico is part of North America. Central America is the center, the middle of both Americas. So
forgive me for my geology, but elaborate.
So pretty much is Mexico versus in South, like Guatemala, Ecuador, Panama, Costa Rica,
Brazil, Colombia.
yes, South America,
Peru.
But Central America, Peru, like Peru, Ecuador, Costa Rica, Guatemala. What's it called? Yeah, like those cities. I even forgot the biggest one here, but Ecuador, yeah, obviously.
It's Salvador.
Mm-hmm. El Salvador, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Salvador, yeah, those are Central America. But he openly admitted that he killed people.
Right.
Like those people should be deported. Like they should leave. People that just came here and they just admittedly said, hey, I just want the government to provide for me and that's it. Them people should be deported. But I think Donald Trump always talks about common sense laws. What's common sense? I think the common sense is if you've been here for over 20 years, been paying taxes, have children, went to school here, this should be a pathway to citizenship.
Exactly. I agree with you on that.
Not the same though, And it's really hard for us Hispanics, Latinos, first American generation Americans to even... I think it was really hard for us to vote for Trump, but I think the Democratic Party just really had a bad candidate,
Okay.
Kamala Harris was like terrible candidate.
Okay, do you think, because I'm on the same page as you, and I agree with you, do you think if Kamala would have won, that she would have secured the border, excuse me, guys, if she would have secured the border and put her foot down, and do you think she would have stopped a bunch of stuff that's going on, or do you think she would just let it happen?
I think she would just let it happen. I think she would try stopping it, but I think people wouldn't take her serious. But not say trying, it wouldn't be like trying. She'll just like implement some things.
Whatever.
But I think people would really take advantage, and I think we would have been in a probably worse situation.
I think so too, man. I think it would have been worse than what it is right now.
Especially right now, I'm talking about sleeper cells. Did you hear about that?
Oh man, I know all about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Sleeper cells, for the audience who don't know what we're talking about, is the bad people who cross the border waiting for the call onto attack on American soil. Am I right or wrong?
You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm starting to believe they kind of don't exist, actually. Maybe. I'm like 50-50 on the ledge on
They
it.
don't exist?
Well, I'm not. I just need more proof that they exist.
Well, I have plenty of proof. I have a video of a group of sleeper cells, terrorists crossing the southern border, and they had plans on attacking on American soil. So that sleeper cell stuff is real.
But the reason why I'm like 50% on it, just to let you know, Donald Trump, before he approved and authorized the attacks in Iran a couple of days ago, he was actually in Canada at a G20 summit with all these, other leaders. He actually left early because Iran threatened him, saying, "Hey, if you attack us, if you authorize missiles or attack our, the nuclear or whatever, we will activate the sleeper cells." He threatened Trump.
I've seen that. I heard that.
And he still approved it. And so right now, we're just like a ticking time bomb right now to see what sleeper cells are activated or not. But
okay, I'm going to take a pee break. Are you back? Don't pause nothing.
Good.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sleeper stuff is real.
Yeah.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's facts.
I am glad that Donald Trump didn't get scared or let that intimidate. Well, if you attack Iran, we're going to activate the sleeper cells. Maybe, but he still approved and authorized the missiles to hit Iran.
Okay.
What's your stance on that? Were you for?
Am I for what?
The attacks on Iran?
Well, check it out.
Plants?
Supposedly, they were a week away from actually building their nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So, I feel like if Trump didn't attack, they would be ready.
Yeah.
And people say, why are we getting in? Why are we butting in? If we don't butt in, if we don't get in, they're going to get stronger, more powerful, create more damage in the Middle East, and eventually have enough equipment and weapons to send to us.
Absolutely. I'm for the destruction of the nuclear facilities in Iran. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a must. It's a have to.
It's a have to. Iran can't have nuclear weapons. Period.
No, they hate us. They hate each other. They hate people in the surrounding area. Why would we let them get more powerful? We can't let it happen. And from Hitler, we were the heroes. We had to stop Hitler. We had to butt in. Mm-hmm. We had to take him down. Going to the Soviet Union, they were getting strong. They were getting powerful. Yeah. We had to butt in. We had to take them down.
Yeah.
Until modern day society and to this day, we got to step in. We got to help.
Yeah.
We can't just let people get strong and powerful enough to challenge us.
Yeah. And I believe, also kind of controversial a little bit, but actually not controversial, people that are anti-Israel didn't want U.S. to attack Iran. And actually, it's not really attacking Iran. It's attacking the nuclear facilities, nuclear locations,
we're not
Iran.
Trump gave a warning to the people, to the civilians there, to evacuate. Yeah. We're not aiming at children and children and women.
Yeah.
That's not where our targets are. That's not where our interest is. Yeah. Our interest is the nuclear facilities and, their military bases. So I'm all for it.
Me too. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, period.
Why would we allow that? Come on now. We were born. I was born in the morning, but I wasn't born this morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got to put our foot down and help.
Do you know who Candace Owens is?
Yeah.
Do I?
She fell off the radar, huh? Big time.
Well, why?
She hates Israel.
Wow.
Straight up. hates Israel. That's a very blunt statement, but she straight up hates
She
Israel.
says a lot of things.
She says if you're in the military, go ahead and like.
She tells people to not let their children fight this war.
I know.
And
yeah,
we need to do something.
Yeah. Just to let you know, I think in the end times, biblically speaking, people are going to abandon Israel. People want Israel destroyed, and that's why if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, they will destroy Israel.
They can and will.
Because part of the prophecy for Jesus' second coming is that there's certain things that has to happen. Israel becoming a nation again. And ultimately, at the end times, everybody will turn their back on Israel. Fun fact. Everybody will turn their backs on Israel. Fortunately, right now, we're still supporting Israel. But during the end times, people will turn their back on Israel.
Yes.
And when everybody turns their back on Israel, that's when they say God's gonna defend Israel himself.
Yes.
But people that are anti-Israel and Candace Owens wants them to be vulnerable and don't hit Iran and let them create a nuclear weapon and them get eventually destroyed. Part of the prophecy is that Israel has to be a nation before the second coming of Jesus. So.
Yes, and I'm a firm and strong believer of the book and Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm not the best human being. I have my flaws, but Jesus is real. The Bible is real.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot we're in. It's a sticky situation.
Absolutely.
I've been in some sticky.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you. And it's an ugly world we're living in. Excuse me, man. I'm a little faded. My words slurring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, it's tough. Everybody's picking sides, and it's like there's a division in our country. Mm-hmm. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody feels entitled, and sometimes we bump heads even with each other. But right now, the only thing we do is just unite and just agree on something.
Yeah. Absolutely. Immigration's big. Absolutely, immigration's big. It's a huge deal. But I think we got to in the next election. They got to find a better candidate for the Democrats, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We should vote. I mean, we should vote for immigration and things like that. But like Kamala Harris, she was talking about prisons. Government funding transgender surgeries in prisons. And
see, that's why I didn't want Kamala to fucking win. And I'm not against the gay community, nothing like that. But it's a little past gay. You know what I mean? It's like I could sit down with a gay dude and talk to him. Yeah. But it went a little further than that.
After Donald Trump got inaugurated on his website, because Biden and everybody else had an LGBTQI whatever on their website.
G Pro Plus Max.
On the Donald Trump's website, you know what they did?
What?
LGB. That's it. That it's just lesbian, gay, bisexual. Like that's all they did because they're for they're not like anti or let me rephrase that, they're not like banning it, but I mean they're like the transgender, the queer, they're I and plus and all that. That's when it's extreme. Yeah. If you're a male, you're a male. If you're a woman, you're a woman.
And one thing I did not agree on is men competing in women's sports.
Yeah, that's extreme. Yeah.
That's too much.
That's extreme.
And people think that if you support Trump, that you're against Mexicans and you're against gays. But no, I have kids. I have a son and a daughter, and I would be damned if my son and daughter were playing with other genders. Because there was a boxing match with a transgender man fighting a regular woman, and he knocked her out. What? Did you see this?
I heard about it.
He knocked her smooth out, and he became champion. And even in the swim team, there's a transgender man or woman who was a man transcended to a woman, and she became the swim champion.
Yeah.
And all the other girls were bummed out.
See, that's crazy. Yeah.
Bummed out, crying. And the girl who really won, the real woman who won, busted out in tears, saying that's not fair. You know what I mean? You could take
Yeah.
all the testosterone blockers you want, but biologically, you're a man. And people
Yeah.
might hate me for this, you know, but it's unfair.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
All right,
Yeah,
big
it's
brother.
crazy. All right.
All right, bro. We're gonna move on to aliens and UFOs.
Okay.
All right. Um, what's your thought process on aliens in general?
Honestly, I think that that's an interesting take. Um,
If you was to see a UFO right now in the sky, what would you think that is?
I think everything's a possibility. I think there's certain types of creatures like possessed with certain technology, possessed with. I think they're demons. Honestly, I think they're demons, and they're possessed with demons and in a weird form, weird creatures, and that's what I believe. I know that's weird, but
Okay.
yeah,
I get you, and I watch a lot of podcasts, and I
yeah,
hear people saying that the same thing you're saying, right?
yeah.
But do you think a demon or an angel would require a aircraft?
I think the Bible says that the devil is the deceiver, the king of deceivers, the head of deceivers, something like that. Deceivers, right?
Yeah, the king of liars.
Yeah, king of liars, the father of lies. There we go. The father of liar, the father of lies. I think he's going to use that to deceive people, um, and to deceive people. Hey, like if these aliens, this technology, if this exists, then God doesn't exist, and I think he's going to deceive people, just like the Antichrist, and just how the end times, how there's going to be a guy that's going to save the world and bring peace to the world during the end times.
Uh huh.
Um, I think he's going to use he's going to be from a different planet, and I think he's going to do miracles, he's going to do things, and he's going to always from a different planet because you have to have something has to happen where everybody agrees, right? The whole world has to agree with you to have a world leader. And how do you get the whole world to agree with you?
Everybody got to be scared.
Everybody has to agree. So how do you do that? Is something from us out of this world, doing miracles. Hey, I'm from this planet. I'm from this. I'm from this. I'm from this place, and this is what I can do.
So
Like the savior of the world.
So what you're saying is you do think space is real?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think outer space is real. I don't believe in the flat Earth. I know I kind of thought about it for a second, but I think God is so huge. The fact that outer space, solar systems, galaxies, that was his
It's
playground.
all him.
That was his playground, and
Thank you.
and he wanted to create a beautiful thing called Earth, and he wanted everything is perfect. The seasons that we have, the hands that we have, our ability to heal and to fight off bacteria and viruses, and we all have 2 eyes, 10 fingers. We all
Exactly. God's image, right?
yeah, everything's in order, right?
Why do you think aliens have 2 arms, 2 eyes, and one head? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ain't it all God's image?
It's all God's image. Well, God's creation, right? Because God's a very creative God, right? I mean, there's whales that are the largest animal in the world is a whale, right? I mean, I think God's a very creative God, and he's a designer and he's a creator, and he's really obviously he created like dinosaurs back in the day and whales and jellyfishes that glows at night and all these cool creatures. And
You do believe in dinosaurs?
I believe in dinosaurs. Yeah.
I had a science teacher in art school. He would get furious about dinosaurs. He thought dinosaurs were fake and they didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think dinosaurs. I think people still existed. When during the dinosaurs age.
Exactly.
Just how we have.
You said you've been to the Mayan temples, right?
Yeah.
Well, there at the Mayan temples, there is a stones where they predicted or they carved humans on a Tyrannosaurus dinosaur, like people on dinosaurs.
I didn't see that. I heard
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. There's carvings of people riding dinosaurs, and you don't gotta take my word for it, but it's there.
Interesting. I
Yes.
think it's a possibility. I think the world, a lot of stuff's happened. I think a lot of creatures and anything's possible. I mean, just how we think of camels and horseback riding, maybe thousands of years ago they had a different animal that we don't know of. Or
Right. So, do you think the Earth is flat or round?
I think it's round.
Mm-hmm.
Round. I think it's round. Honestly, whether the world's flat or round, I mean, I think it's kind of irrelevant. I
It
think
don't matter,
it don't really
right?
matter. I think outer space exists. I do. I think Mars exists. The moon exists. I think you can't put God in a box. Because if the outer space doesn't exist, then what exists outside outer space? Like, what's the other side of that?
Do you think there was life on Mars back then?
Uh, no, I don't think that.
No.
I think everything was made in order, and just how there's a tree that exists, and there's a piece of rock, and there's mountains, and right, there's a mountain everywhere, and we see mountains. Just how those mountains exist, and so does a piece of round thing floating on outer space that exists too. Just how a mountain exists here, and just how, uh, you know,
Are
huge,
you
yeah.
are you familiar with Project Stargate?
I've heard about it a lot, but not into detail. No.
Can you? What did you hear about it?
That it's the project that Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, right?
No.
No. Okay.
Project Stargate is a project that the CIA had, and forget what I'm saying. It's documented. Of it is documented. It's fact. It's real. Of the CIA, they had psychics who could see any place at any time, and they could see the past, present, and future, and they could be somewhere. Excuse my son. Excuse my son. But it was psychics that could see the past, present, and future, and apparently, a psychic was able to go to Mars 1 million years BC, and he's seen life on Mars, Martians, and cities on Mars. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. We can move on.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, well, we'll just move on. And you said you're not a flat earther anymore.
I was highly interested.
What are you looking forward to? What's your future plans?
Yeah.
And is there anything you want to say?
Future plans. I think we all have similar future plans. Doesn't matter what kind of line of work do you do currently. I think we all want to, maybe potentially make side money, side hustle somewhere, something. I think that's important.
Okay.
Obviously, we all want to do that. Not put all one eggs in one basket. But like I think somewhere in Proverbs, and I'm butchering the statement. This scripture up, but the more words you say, like words leads to poverty or something. Like you keep talking about it, but nothing gets done. Like leads to poverty.
Right,
What's that
right.
scripture? Which scripture I'm talking about.
What?
Anyway, so but yeah, I think we all. And I want to eventually do like side something, maybe like something on the side. Not rely on my work all the time because I'll be working like all the time.
You put a lot of hours, bro.
I do, yeah. I like next on Friday. I'm working like 12 days straight.
So what side hustles are you planning
I
on?
have no idea. I think I'm gonna start using like ChatGPT or something to like what? To learn something.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have an interest, or you don't know yet?
I don't know yet. No.
Well,
I
what
don't
do you
know yet.
love? What's your passion? Well, what's something that you would like to do as a hobby?
As a hobby. Well, I'm planning on doing a marathon next month.
Wow.
I haven't I've been training for it for the past year. Now this month
25 miles?
26 with some change. Yeah, it's about
26.3.
something like that.
Here?
No, not here. So I did my half marathon in December in Austin. I'm doing my marathon just because I told myself I was gonna do it, and I'm not probably like physically like ready for it probably yet. But I told myself I was gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. I'm actually gonna do it in mid-July before my birthday, before my only before 30. And like even it doesn't matter how long it takes me to do it. I'm just gonna do it just because I told myself I was gonna do it. So I'm looking
Nice.
forward to that. I'm not sure where I'm gonna go to, but I'm thinking about taking a vacation somewhere in July. I have no idea where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be off for like 10 days, but I don't know where I'm gonna go.
Nice. I guess we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah. Okay.
But before we wrap it up, can you tell me more about the Mayan pyramids when you went?
I think the biggest takeaway, that's something that I really found interested more, that I kept asking questions about. They have this like sex god, and you'll do is that you'll meet this like you go into this like room, and then you'll like tell the god that you want a boy or a girl, and you tell it, and it like gives you like that gender or something. So that was the biggest takeaway. The second biggest takeaway that I learned was um, the people in the pyramids back in like central Mexico, they compare themselves as tigers. They
Wow.
loved, actually, was it tigers or leopards?
Jaguars.
Jaguars. Yes, it was jaguars. Yes, they loved jaguars. They actually idolized jaguars. They
Mhm.
loved jaguars. Jaguars like their god. And I didn't know
Right.
that actually. I didn't know that. So when they captured their enemy, captured their captain, the leader, and of their opponent, what they'll do is they'll grab their nails and get all their nails taken off.
Wow.
Yeah. And for the people, that was like humiliating. Why is it humiliating? Because a jaguar with no claws is like weak,
Yeah.
right? So
Wow.
that's why they did that. It's like humiliation. And then another thing that was the thing that I learned too is they do human sacrifices like every year based off your birthday. And like based off your birthday, like they like it wasn't like a random person because I thought it was like random. It's really like the person that has the best talents, the best skills, are the ones that get sacrificed.
Wow.
But it's really
That
also.
must suck. I'm gonna act like I don't know shit.
But then
I'm gonna be slow and everything.
But then I was kind of confused by it because they said it was also based off your birthday too. Like if like let's say you have multiple people with high skills, it's also based off your birthday, like when you were born.
Keep going, brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pee real fast.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's true.
My bucket list. One of my bucket lists is to go to the pyramids in Mexico, and
Yeah.
I didn't know you went.
I went. Yeah.
How does it feel? Like, is the energy off the charts? Does it make your mind boggle?
I was super. I don't know. I was just really cool. Just seeing the pyramids, seeing the angle, seeing how people lived, and seeing the culture.
Because one thing the people in Mexico would say, they didn't build it; they were inherited with them pyramids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just crazy. That's just crazy, bro.
If you want, I can let you. I can actually probably you can borrow it. I haven't used it yet, but I actually bought this like souvenir there. It's a round. It's a rock, a black rock.
You
And
have
it's
it?
round. Yeah, it's round.
They let you take it?
I bought it and they sell it. They sell it, and then you can actually look at the sun. So they look at based off the sun, because that's what the Mayans calendar and all that.
Right.
So based off the sun's angle and all that, well, how would they look at the sun, right? There's a piece of rock that they use for, and actually bought, like they found the rock, like they have it like as souvenirs. I mean, it's also very touristic.
Calendar.
Yeah, so I have the rock. You actually look at the sun with it, so you can actually see the sun with this rock.
That's crazy, bro.
So you can check it out.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, but I appreciate you inviting me to this podcast. I was a little bit nervous, because I'm this definitely out of my comfort zone for sure.
No, bro.
You know,
no. Well, here.
Good thing I didn't cancel.
Well, no, we're here, bro. This podcast right here, bro, is it's not what you think.
Mhm.
You could be a regular guest, and if you have something that you need to get off your chest, you got any thoughts, you could always come back. You could be a regular guest.
Okay.
My boy Ero right here, he's a regular guest.
Okay.
And we have our own podcast, and I have buddies everywhere with interesting conversations, bro. So whenever you want to come back and talk about something, it's always here.
Cool. Appreciate that. Thanks for the hospitality.
Okay, boys. It's another episode of Change My Mind podcast. It's your boy Dubbo, the host with the toast. And my brother here, Omar Flores. And it was a great conversation, a great podcast. And I appreciate my boy Ebro behind the camera doing his thing. So we're going to let y'all go. Have a good night. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell for me.
Love it.
Later.
Laters.